Hi Betsy. Thank you for your time this morning or this afternoon. This is a little updated home exercise program, so hopefully we'll up the ante on a few of the exercises we've done. So I actually want to start in a seated position with the one that we just finished with. So my feet are planted. I want to try to make sure that I'm sitting with my rib cage on top of my pelvis. Okay, so that may mean my feet need to go further out or kind of just adjust as needed. My hands are behind the thighs. We're going to start with 4 just pelvic movements. So we roll the pelvis under toward the heels, but I want to still try to maintain my height, and then roll back up to seated right on top of those seat bones. So again, maintain the height, roll the pelvis under. So it's that deeper, or I should say that lower kind of abdominal region, kind of controlling the movement, drawing the pelvis under, and then seated back up, or sitting back up on the pelvis. 2 more. Pelvis, tail draws under towards the heels, and then release. 1 more, and we're going to add on. So we roll the pelvis under, Betsy, and this is where we allow the rest of the spine to kind of C-curve. So the idea is that my ribs are drawing kind of back and up under my heart. If you'll notice, my shoulders are still over my pelvis there. But then I'm going to take this rounded shape back as far as I can, Betsy, without feeling like my spine has to straighten. So the abdominals have to stay engaged. And then I come forward. I release the pelvis and sit right up. So again, exhaling to roll the pelvis under, spine rounds, and rounding back. Inhale here, pause. Exhale, coming forward, releasing the pelvis and stacking through the spine. I would say that you can move through about 6 of those. So one more time, pelvis rolling under, spine rounds into that C curve, rounding back. Inhaling, exhaling, and stacking through the spine. So next one is going to be that great pelvic curl. I'm just a big fan in general. So we've done this before, and I think it's been a part of your home exercise for the last several videos. Again, you can go through about 7 to 10 of these, moving through the spine, very wave-like. Try to feel like you're kind of integrating this into the whole body. Every piece is getting a little action there. So from there, Betsy, I will say let's keep the spine twist supine. And I would say with the legs stacked up, you're going to want to do about 12 total, about 6 to each side. I do want to play with today. You were doing some of the single leg lifts, I feel like, last visit or last home exercise program. So let's warm up with a little bit of alternating leg lift. And then from there, Betsy, after you've done, say, about 6 on each side, just really trying to maintain the pelvis, maintain the ribs resting, alternating this pattern for your walking pattern, what I'd like you to try is lifting the right leg, lifting the left leg, and we're going to try a little bit of that marching motion that we did today. So it's literally just a teeny little march. So it's like I'm going to take this leg to the floor, but I decide not to, or that foot to the floor. So the angle of the knee stays the same. You're moving from the hip joint. You're breathing naturally. We place the hands maybe on the inside of those pelvic bones, and what I want you to feel is you're definitely going to feel this muscle area active, but I don't want you to feel like it's gripping and popping up. I want you to feel like you can kind of allow it to settle down a little bit. And breathing naturally. I would say maybe about, you're going to go for about 16 total, so that's going to be about 8 on each leg, And you're welcome to kind of rest and maybe even repeat that. So from there, Betsy, let's do, again, still some of our rolling, kind of our side, our open book, excuse me. You're going to want to go through about 5 to 6 of these, rolling through the upper body, a nice way to open up through the shoulders and across the chest. And then you're doing, kind of moving those heels to line up with the hips. I would say maybe about 15 still of your clamshells, pelvis steady. Now what we added today was legs extended, and now if I look down the line of my body, I can just see kind of the middle of the foot and the toes. I want to give that rib cage a little lift from the mat so the center is strong. I'm going to try to float my legs off the mat. Notice I'm not trying to lift so high. I just want to really gain the length and the strength in the body. Pelvis stable. And I would ask you to go through about 6 to 8 of these. And you'd repeat that series on the other side. So, Betsy, we've also been doing kind of hands underneath the forehead. Elbows reaching wide, hands glued. Pressing the elbows down to float the head and the neck up. I want you to really lengthen and maintain the length of the neck, I should say. You'll go through still about 6 to 8 there, but today I want to add elbows at 90 degrees. You're going to feel the forearms, the elbows press into the mat. You're going to lift or float the head, the neck, and now the collarbones off the mat. My neck is still long. My collarbones are going kind of in the same direction as my eyes. My lower ribs, my pubic bone are still on the mat. And Betsy, you'll move through that once again about 6 to 8 times. And then we move to hands and knees. So I'm still liking this series for you. So hands and knees, Betsy. We want to maintain the head, the ribs, the pelvis in a line. You'll do about 4 breaths of your belly breath, filling the belly and then drawing it up towards the spine without feeling that the spine changes. And then I'd ask you for 2 to 3 of your plank preps. I want you to think of kind of a vacuum. It's like the thigh bones are being sucked up into the hip joints to get that lift. My arms are active, my legs and my feet are active. It's kind of like a tug of war. It's like I'm trying to push, my arms are trying to push back, my legs are trying to push forward, but you're just maintaining that in the center. So again, I would say doing that maybe about 2 to 3 times for about 2 to 3 breaths each. And I think that's a pretty good solid program. Feel free to chunk it up if you need to, and I'll be in touch soon with maybe some options for meeting. Thank you.